lagers even come from? The roots go all the way back to the 1400s, back in Bavaria. The word lager actually means cold storage in German, and this refers to the caves that they would store the beer in and allow it to ferment. They'd brew it in the winter and be able to store it and keep it from spoiling all summer long in these cold caves. Now, the cold factor of this fermentation is actually the key difference between ales and lagers. See, ales are going to ferment at warmer temperatures for shorter periods of time, while lagers, longer period of times, colder temperatures. And in addition, they use different yeasts that thrive in the different environments that they ferment in. The Germans themselves get credit for discovering that these cold, longer fermentation periods actually produce a very crisp, clean, clear beer that we associate with lagers. So even though today most people associate lagers with light, crisp, bright, clear-colored beers, that wasn't where lagers got started from. A group of Bavarian brewers actually created the first Dunkel back in the 16th century. This beer was brewed with dark Munich malts, giving it the big roasty caramel flavor that it's known for and the dark color. The Dunkel was the first beer to be fully standardized under the German Reinheitsgebot in 1516, making it Germany's first standardized lager, and this kickstarted the boom of lagers as we know it. All right, now that we got the backstory of lagers done and over with, let's jump into some traditional holiday food pairings from around the globe with lagers themselves. And since lagers started in Germany, we might as well start there. What kind of food is traditional for Germans around the holidays? Well, if you didn't think of sausages and sauerkraut, then you can turn around and shut this video's door right now, because clearly that's what it is. Sausages and sauerkraut have been a staple of German dining experiences for centuries. It's a warm, hearty meal that's really savory and adds the nice tartness from the sauerkraut. Now, the beer you should put it with, there's lots of them, but the number one I'm going with right now is a Helles Lager. You've got this huge savory flavor from the sausages, but the Helles Lager is not only going to cut through that savory, but it's going to add a little hint of sweetness. And in addition, the Helles is going to cut through that tartness, balancing it out, being nice and refreshing, cleansing your palate after every bite. Did you know that the Czech Republic's long-standing holiday meal is actually fried carp? It symbolizes prosperity and good fortune. This has been a tradition that's gone all the way back to the Middle Ages, when fish was a common fasting meal in between for Advent. What beer would I pair with said fried carp? Clearly it's going to be a Pilsner. We're in the Czech Republic, come on. Its light, crisp flavor is going to cut right through the fry on that fish. All of the bubbles, since it's such a highly carbonated beer, it's going to help cut through the grease and make it a really refreshing meal and allow the fish flavor to shine without overpowering it, and actually kind of cutting some of the fried flavor, letting the fish itself shine a little bit more. Now, this pairing might catch you off guard a little bit because this area is more known for tequila than it is for its beer. What's the staple holiday beer in Mexico? Tamales! But this isn't just about the meal, it's also about the prep time. You get a lot of good quality family time while you're filling these banana and corn husks with the corn goodness and meats and cheeses and peppers. It's about the entire experience together and then eating it, because it's about family. But the unexpected beer pairing here is gonna be pair your tamales with a Vienna lager. What? I know, it sounds crazy, but the sweet malt of the Vienna lager is actually going to complement the earthiness of the corn. In addition, because it's such a savory dish, the Vienna lager is going to be refreshing. It's light enough for that, but there is enough sweetness that's going to help complement the savoriness and help pop the meal, allowing the flavors of the meal to really be the heroes, not the beer itself, but finish with a touch of sweetness, really making you want to go back for a bite. And a drink, and a bite, and a drink, and a bite, and a drink, and a bite, and a drink. All right, y'all, this Norway traditional holiday meal was way too crazy not to talk about. Lutefisk. Ever heard of it? I hadn't, and I kind of wish I still hadn't. It's codfish that is dried for preservation. It is then rehydrated with lye, and then cooked with the goal of being gelatinous. This technique, kind of cool because it goes all the way back to like the Vikings time to be able to preserve food and like have it be able to last a long time. That's cool. but it looks absolutely disgusting. Hard pass on gelatinous fish. Bah. My pairing with this, because it's so gelatinous, is going to be a beer with a big mouthfeel. Something like a Marzen or a Bock. That big mouthfeel itself is going to kind of help overpower. And it's also going to create some of the flavor melding versus some of our other pairings that allows the meal to really be the hero. This is going to kind of allow the beer to be a little bit of the hero and balance really well and just kind of balance each other. But this recommendation also might be because I think it sounds gross and I want something to like wash every bit of how this sounds away. Just like be gone, bite, be gone. I don't want anything to do with it. Let the beer save the day. But hey, that's just me. Maybe I would like it if I tried it. I have doubts, but maybe. Okay guys, this is a crazy story I had never heard about before, but did you know that KFC is synonymous with Christmas meal in Japan? And this all started in the 1970s when a KFC in Japan had some tourists come in around the holiday season who were bummed that they couldn't get turkey, because apparently turkey is difficult to come by in Japan. And so they went to KFC and were like, no, we're only here because we couldn't get turkey. I guess like some marketing people were there, overheard it and was like, we need to set up a campaign around this. And it has been wildly successful since. Like on holidays in Japan, the KFCs there do 10 times more revenue than they do on a normal day. Like it's wildly successful. And the slogan was so simple. At Christmas, you eat chicken. And since then, Kentucky for Christmas has been a tradition. The beer I would pair with your crispy bucket-o chicken is a pale lager, something that has enough flavor to kind of help overpower some of the extra fry that goes on the chicken, but not so overbearing that it's going to kind of dilute out the chicken flavor itself. It's also going to be highly carbonated, which is going to cut through that grease and really help the flavors of that good old bucket pop and be delicious. Because at Christmas, you eat chicken. All right, let's finish this festive lagery sips of wisdom off with a dessert sweet treat brought to you from Italy. And over in Italy, we're gonna find a delicious bread called panettone. It is a holiday favorite dating all the way back to the 15th century. Milan, baby, Milan. It's a dome-shaped bread that is enriched with fruits and candied citrus. Sounds pretty good, actually. So the beers I would put with it, if you're ending off your holiday meal, would be like a Dunkel again, or potentially an amber lager. I like the Dunkel a little bit more because I think the malty and the sweetness is going to really help complement the sweetness of the bread. Amber lagers, I feel like sometimes can have a little bit of extra like hoppy bite, which can be good, but I do think for me personally, the extra sweetness from the beer is just going to make this beautiful, lovely, light, delicious, sweet meal, dessert meal to finish the meal with. Yum. That's all I got. What's your guys' favorite beer and holiday meal pairing? Anything that's weird, goofy, fun? Let us know. I'd love to hear about it. Bye.